Hey guys, what's happening? I'm back up here in Michigan hanging out with Brian Wolf. As you can see, we got a 7.3 here, and today we're going to talk about swap solutions. It's been one of the biggest topics. You can get the crate motor, you can get an engine from Brian, but what are you going to put it in and how are you going to get it in there?
So it's really fantastic because that's one of the biggest issues, right? Is it's pretty easy to throw an alternator on here. You can buy the Ford stuff, but it still takes the engine even a little bit wider. Right. And I still only have an alternator and a water pump. But I'm getting a lot of folks want to say, I got to put a power steering pump in it. I want to put AC on it. How am I going to make all this stuff work? And you know, luckily I came across a company, Indie Power Products, with Jim Ryder, and he's been working on this exact solution for over a year. And what we want to do here is showcase what he's done, not only for the front accessory drive, some really cool, innovative solutions for that big oil pan, and then some really super sexy valve covers that's going to make this thing really look awesome. Okay, back here again with Jim Ryder, Indie Power Products. And Jim, you know, you came up with some really innovative stuff we're going to throw on this engine, but what made you want to get involved with this thing from the start?
Well, I'm a car guy, love cars, and I really love engines, and push rod V8s are something that I really like a lot. Done a lot of work in the past on them, a lot of work in, at the NASCAR level on power development and push rod V8s. So saw the 7.3 come out, saw the challenges with the packaging, said we can do something with that. We can shrink it up and make this thing so it can go in almost anything. Pretty darn engineering behind us.
Off she comes. All right, so we're now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to put on this billet front cover from Indie Power Products. So this front cover, first thing you notice is how compact it is versus a stock front cover. Next thing is this is a billet piece, really nicely manufactured, fully machined, utilizes the stock sealing gaskets, which are really good, so you know things will be working. It's going to give you a worry-free, leak-free usage. The other thing you'll notice on this front cover, this is the one that's set up for the oil pan system that Indie Power Products has. However, they're also offering one that is just more machined flat if you don't need to use the entire oil pan. So let's put this on. We're going to put an alternator on, let you see how that thing looks put together with the water pump and everything in place. Okay, so the cool thing about this is the water pump, right? So you got a nice, little smaller water pump, which I think is going to be a little bit more practical for the street user. And this is an off-the-shelf water pump. It comes from a 93 to 95 Thunderbird, and available at your auto parts store. Obviously it comes with the kit, but if you ever had to replace it, it's not a special part, nothing hard to get. So let's put this on. Okay, so we got the front cover on, got the water pump pulley. Now we're going to put the bracketry on to run the alternator. So this little bracket here is the one that's going to work with the tensioner for the system. Okay, we just put the alternator bracket on real quick, so we're just going to tighten this up. Then we'll be throwing the belt on and let you see how this whole system works, looks all put together. Okay, so as you can see here, we have the most basic system, which is just the front accessory drive, running the water pump and the alternator. The first thing you'll notice is how much more compact this is, how much shorter it is. It fits within the envelope of the engine itself, which is a great advantage. Also available are two other systems. They have one that includes a power steering pump and one that would also add to that an AC compressor. So basically a full line depending on what your vehicle needs. And it's all really compact, billet made in the USA, really cool stuff. Okay, as you recall from the past videos, this is a stock oil pump system with a variable displacement oil pump in it. Chain driven off the front, and this is, you know, the Achilles heel of the engine as far as making the pan really deep, because this is a very integrated, engineered piece So we're going to take this off and replace it with something much smaller that's integral to the front cover. So this is the Indie Power Products pump, and it's a G-rotor pump, and we'll be showing you shortly how it's going to fit right in here and attach to the front cover, and then use it for the oiling system. It's going to be really cool.
It's going to be awesome. All right, so now we've got the front cover with the Indie Power Products integrated oil pump. So that replaces the OE oil pump, chain driven G-rotor pump, integral to the cover. All right, this is the oil pan rail, and what this does for us, takes the oil from the oil pump through the oil lines and into the block, and it also simplifies the oil pan fabrication. Once you have this on here, the oil pan becomes just a simple, straightforward, fabricated piece, flat, with no oil flowing through the pan.
And the great part about that is there's so many combinations. This is trying to go in from old Cyclones, Fairlanes, Talladegas, Broncos, F-Series, that pan, one size doesn't fit all. So that cool part about that piece that bolts on the bottom is it can be made to fit into anything with this common rail that has all the oil flow going through it.
All right, so now we're installing the oil hardline, stainless hardline from Brown & Miller Racing Solutions, and this will take the oil pressure side from the pump and move it over here into the rail, where then it will go out to the filter and then back into the engine.
Okay, this is a little sump cover to help with any splash to keep the oil near the pickup. And Jim's now installing the pickup tube.
Again, stainless pickup tube, stayed with a 1-inch diameter, so I can really run the cavitation RPM way up and not have to worry about the oil cavitating on us. And that big inlet tube helps that cavitation issue.
Okay, here we got the pan that we're going to put on the bottom. So one thing you'll notice is this pan is really shallow for the application this specific pan was designed for. So this is only 4.5 inches from the bottom of the block to the bottom of the pan. To put that in perspective, the stock pan is 8 inches, so this is almost about half the depth. And this little sump here will hold 5 quarts of oil in it. So again, you can get all the oil significantly below the bottom of the pan, which is better than you'd have with the stock. Also, if you're talking like Mustang stuff, what a lot of folks can relate to, you can make this dimension roughly 6 inches. So 6 inches, that would put us almost at 6.5 quarts in the pan, just in the sump area, which would keep all the oil significantly away from the crankshaft, which could really be good for power. So lots of opportunities with this modular design of the oil pan. I really like it. It keeps all the technical pieces common, and then it allows, depending on what vehicle you're going in, to adapt that bottom part of the pan. Let's take a look at that again. Okay, so we're going to bolt this pan on, and then we're going to take a look at how this whole system looks with the front and accessory drive on and everything else.
All right, so this setup here is for a remote mount oil filter. So if the customer wants to run his oil filter mounted on the fender well or somewhere else, we have oil out to the filter and then back into the engine right here. And we also have an option if you want to run a traditional style filter mount. It will bolt right here on the side of the pan rail, and just screw your filter on there, away you go.
Happy.
That all makes sense.
All right, Brian. These guys did a great job today. We took a Godzilla truck engine and made it look like a race engine with an oil pan, front engine dress, and but we got a few other little surprises, don't we?
Absolutely. The guys from Indie Power Products have come up with a couple more things that are just spectacular. Let's just take a step back, starting with this intake manifold. This gives the old school look. It's a dual plane, a little shorter runners, and it really actually ends up moving the power peak out from that long truck intake to about 6,700 RPM from about 5,900 RPM. Next thing is it's got these really gorgeous billet valve covers and coil covers, depending on how you want to do it. So now this engine looks like the race engine that it truly is.
Yeah, we also got the power steering pump on here, so you can take a look at that. We showed you the system before without it. So now we got pretty much what you'd want for swap solutions if you were going to drop this 7.3 in a street car, if you wanted to go road racing, pretty much whatever you wanted to do, huh, Brian?
Absolutely. I think the solutions people have been asking for, here's a great alternative for them.
Yeah. All right, so thanks for checking out the channel. We're rocking it out, the REVan YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop us a like, drop us a comment, and have yourself a great day.